shutdown, do you think that could speed up some of the things that the Trump administration and DOGE want to do with VA employees in terms of cutting personnel, services programs, etc.?
You know, I'm not going to speculate on what the Trump administration might do in case of a government shutdown. This continuing resolution also creates a kind of slush fund for Donald Trump and may give him unbridled discretion, so they are both potential licenses for illegal action on the part of Donald Trump. What's important now is to pass legislation that protects veterans. We're protecting veterans to make sure they get the services they need and deserve in health care, in disability benefits. They depend on both, and we want expedited action for this legislation because it's the only way to guarantee that they will be kept on the job serving fellow veterans. And I just want to make a point that, emphasize a point that Bernie made. You know, the most powerful voices and faces for this legislation are veterans. We got 2 Marines here, Marine Corps Reserve, and there are the veteran service organizations that came before our committee, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Commander-in-Chief said to us, stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding. That's what I tell my colleagues in the United States Senate and in the Congress. We need to stop the bleeding. And whether it's a shutdown or a continuing resolution, this legislation is absolutely necessary to stop the bleeding. It is literally a matter of life and death. Not just in the hospitals where veterans are waiting for surgery, where doctors and nurses can't do what they need to provide to our veterans, but also the PAC Act, where veterans are dependent on the disability benefits to live, put food on the table, pay their rent, and compensate for their disabilities resulting from exposure to the burn pits and other toxic chemicals.
Can I just say one thing? I don't know what Trump's going to do, but I can tell you right now, this is the most anti-veteran administration in the history of this country. But I know what's in the CR. In the CR, there's more than $1 billion of cuts to veteran benefits. Clearly stated, the Republican Party is pushing a budget, not a CR, because this thing is brand new, that is more than $1 billion cuts to veterans. So I know for a fact I will not vote for something that cuts veteran services. And that's what's in that bill. Whether it passes, whether not, whether we go to shutdown, what Trump decides to do, he has to decide. But I will not take part in knowingly cutting more than $1 billion from the VA. And that's just the start. There is a lot more they could do if we give them that power. Thank you. I got to head out.
Question for Senator Sanders. Given the $1 billion in cuts to veteran benefits in the House passed CR, what are you advising your Senate colleagues to do on that vote, on that 6-month bill, if the alternative is a possible shutdown?
No. I think what Senator Gallego just said is right. Let's be clear. This bill, for the first time in modern history, the CR was not written by representatives of both parties. It wasn't the Senate and the House coming together. It was written by right-wing House Republicans who managed to get it passed in the House by a few votes. I think what has got to happen right now is that we prevent the government from shutting down by passing a 30-day CR that will allow all sides to come together to work out a budget that works for all people rather than just the billionaire class.
And
Okay.
you have 3 no votes on the CR.
I've got to run. I've got to be on the floor. Okay.
Thank you all for being here. Yeah.
Earlier this week, you said that you're not getting a lot of information from VA about these firings. Has anything improved in the last few days? Have you gotten any more clarity on how many veterans or what these
Crickets. This VA is the most unresponsive of any that I've seen in my time here. It is the least transparent, but it's opening its files to Elon Musk so that he can rummage through them, harvest personal, confidential, private information, including potentially healthcare information. And this bill would stop it. It would give veterans rights against that kind of invasion and intrusive conduct and abuse of power. And, you know, we know for sure Elon Musk has never worn any uniform. Donald Trump thinks veterans are suckers. That's the mentality of this administration. That's the disrespect it has for veterans. And that's why this legislation is necessary. Thanks, everyone.